the viewer to focus on. And then you create that part and you try to have everything else around it support it. That might be just where you place your subject. It might be the colors you use that help balance or make the subject pop out. That kind of all just depends on what you choose as an artist to do as well. Okay. So those are the two huge kind of parts of the building blocks, I guess you could say, of talking about an artwork. Then if we take a look at some of this vocabulary, this will also give us some ideas. So like I had talked about foreground, middle ground, and background a little bit. That's how you lay out your picture. You divide it into 3 spaces, basically. If something's really close to you at the bottom of the page, it's going to be really large. That's in the foreground. If you have something off towards the top of your page, it's going to be much smaller than the object in the front. There's a lot of different ways to shade as well. Some examples are like value, where you go from light to dark. Hatching, where you take parallel lines and go in one direction. And then you have cross hatching, where you actually cross it over and you create perpendicular lines. Smudging as well, where maybe you blend the artwork and then smudge it a little bit. And I think that might be all I want to talk about on that. Okay, so what is art? Here on this page it talks about how art is all around us. It could be from the way a building was built and created by the architect who drew it, to a sculpture in a museum. If you walk down a street, you might see billboards that have art. You might walk into a store that has wallpaper. That was created and designed by somebody with an art skill set. So you want to, basically, when we're analyzing art and critiquing art, you want to be able to talk about it in a way that can back up your statement. So we'll talk about an art critique or art criticism right now, which helps when you decide to talk about artwork and analyze it. So when you're having a critique, the most important part about it is using that critical thinking process that we learned about in our reading. You don't want to just say that you like it or you don't like it. You want to have reasons why you think the artwork might be strong and what they were trying to express. Or you might talk about things that may be lacking that they could have worked on a little bit more to increase the dynamic of that painting or sculpture. So you've got aesthetic and criticism, which is understanding the use of guidelines for perceiving, interpreting, and judging art. Then we have our art history. Is there some information, background knowledge that we can read about to understand this work of art? A lot of times knowing where it was from and maybe what was going on in the world at the time will help you understand what the artist was trying to convey. So they're really trying to spark an interest maybe on a controversial topic, but if you don't really know what was happening during that time in the world, then it'll be really hard to discuss the work of art itself. And usually you'll find, like in museums, all artwork will have a small little area that they talk about what it was made out of, the title, date, medium, which is the material it was made from, and then they might give a brief summary of the artwork itself or even a title. And that was on this page. I think I passed it. Oh, I was looking at it before. Oh, one more time. Nope. Okay. Like the critical process. So when we talk about this in class, to talk about any type of work of art, you're going to want to have a critical process. And that is the general information. So the title, artist's name, date, location it was created, and location it currently is being held at. Then we have iconography or subject matter. What is the work of art containing? What are the images? Does it symbolize anything? Does it have a meaning? And then you can kind of describe what you see using the elements of art. Medium, what is it made of? Form, discuss some of the lines, color, shapes. Evaluate the principles. And then put it into context. What was happening? What was going on in the world? Where were they living? And then other information, like maybe your artist at that time was, struggling in life and depressed, and so then they created artwork that was more of a blue period. So that's kind of how you talk and analyze art. A lot of stuff, I know, but as we go through class 2, you will be able to keep that vocab and learn more things as we go. So that is part 1 of this video.